Welcome to a journey into yoga. I'm Susan Rubenstein. Today we're going to talk about yoga and flexibility. How bringing a yoga practice into your life can not only make you feel good inside, but outside it can help you to be more flexible. It can help you feel more active in your own body. Because we all know that when we don't stretch our muscles, they get really tight. So when we try to flex them or reach for something, it's difficult. So yoga is a wonderful practice that's been around for thousands of years, and it has some really key poses in it that help keep you flexible. From a basic standing posture, to a forward bend, to a twist. If we think about all of those different poses that we do in yoga, we also can think about the different muscles that are being stretched. We talk about stretching muscles in yoga, but we also work on creating more space in what we call the connective tissue or the fascia. So without getting into all of that detail and confusing what flexibility is, we're going to get started. So it's always important before you start any exercise program just to run it by your doctor, especially if you've had any health conditions or things that you just want to check in on and make sure that you're okay. We will be doing forward bends in this particular class. So if you have high blood pressure, if you have any type of heart condition, it's probably not the best idea for you to bring your head below your heart. That also applies to your eyes. If you've had eye surgery, if you've had any popping in your blood vessels recently, and you've been told by your doctor not to bring your head below your heart, that's really a good thing to listen to. So I'll throw out a couple different cues for you to hone in on and know what's right for you. So the important thing of when you start to stand is how we stand. So let's look to our feet. We're going to spread our toes because our toes need to stay flexible. And right now I want you to bring your hands to your waist, shoulders back. I want you to look down and lift and lower your toes. That's all you're doing. Try to lift all 10 toes. You might find that maybe one or two get stuck to the mat or they really haven't been used a lot. And then as you're lifting your toes up off the mat, think about lifting and spreading your toes. That's the true challenge. So we think about it, our feet are always in shoes. So those toes are closed together, right? They get used to this. It becomes a habitual pattern, a habit. So we want to try to open the toes like I'm doing with my fingers. And then bring them back together. Good. And then press your big toe down, lift the other 4 toes up, and then try to switch that. Lift the big toe, drop the other 4, and then go back and forth. So we just want to have happy feet, right? Because when our feet are happy, the rest of the body is happy. Because think about what our feet have to carry. We walk on them, we do all kinds of things to our feet. We run on them, we jump on them. We shove them in shoes. Sometimes our feet swell and the shoes get tight, so it's good to care for your feet. Now, as you see, I'm kind of working from the ground up today. So we rest the feet down. Now I'm just going to start to lift the knee up and put it down. So this movement creates flexibility through the hips, through the knees, and it's also a great way to get the fluid moving in the body. Did you know that when you move, it's actually a natural pain reliever? Yes, that's right. So sometimes when we wake up and we're feeling stiff or achy, and we might think, oh, I need to shy away from doing anything today, physical. Actually, the opposite is true. We need to do something. Not something too harsh or too intense, but movement, getting those fluids going, moving the blood to the extremities is really key. It makes us feel better because anytime that we're doing something good for our bodies, we all of a sudden get that happy endorphin feeling. All right, so let's take the feet down. Again, about 2 fist distance apart. Now I'm going to reach the arms up. So I'm lifting the fingers to the sky. I'm going to draw the fingers into my heart. So this is just a centering pose. Inhaling. And then exhaling. So what I'm finding here is I'm breathing from the belly, expanding to come up and bringing it down. Good. This just really feels good. If you wake up in the morning and you just need a little energy to get going, try this before your cup of coffee or your tea. One more time, inhale. And exhale, good. All right, now I'm going to inhale and stretch open. So I'm bringing space across my chest and then bringing the hands back together. Just when you bring our hands together, once again, it's just to center ourselves, center our thoughts, become more grounded and connected to our earth, and really paying attention to the body as we move. We breathe in, we breathe out. We're going to do that one more time. Take a big breath in. Now, as we breathe out, bring your hands together. Good. Stretch your hands out. Press. And then reach up. Pay attention to your shoulders and take a little side stretch here. So now this is really helpful, the lateral flexion for the spine. But what I love about this is it stretches open the ribs. The layers of muscle between the ribs begin to open up. Come back through center. Inhale. And exhale. So how many times do we really think about doing this? Bending side to side. Right? Doesn't it feel good? And that's the great thing about yoga, is that it feels good. It helps us to become more flexible and then release. Many times I hear people say, let's breathe in again. Breathe out now. All I want you to do is to circle the shoulders. So many times I hear people say to me, oh, I'm not flexible. There's nothing I can do about it. But you know what? You might be surprised. So what if you can't touch your toes, or maybe you have to bend your knees when you come into a forward fold, or you don't exactly have your hands and your arms fully extended out in warrior 2 or warrior 1. Try and do what you can and you'll be surprised. You'll be surprised how much flexibility you do have and how, if you stick with it, it actually gets better. All right, so with that being said, inhale, reach. Now this is one of my favorites, so this is where you decide, should you bring your head below your heart? If you're not, stop right here, hands to thighs, or even use a chair railing or a chair or a table. Otherwise, we're going to fold all the way down. So my head drops down, chin comes into the chest, and I'm now creating space in the back of my legs, from my heel to my sits bone. Stretching out the calf, the hamstring. Now, together, we're going to inhale, walk our hands up to our thighs if they're not there already. Otherwise, just stay as you are. Fold back down. Let's do that again. Inhaling, nice deep breath through the nose, expanding out through the belly, and then exhale. Let that breath pour out of the nose or the mouth, whichever one feels best for you. Inhaling. Exhaling. One more time, take a deep breath in. This time, bend your knees, scoop forward. Imagine lifting something precious from the earth. Reach up, bring your arms down. Good. So now, keeping your feet as they are, let's inhale, open. We're going to bring our arms out in front as we exhale. Now watch, we're binding the arms together. That's right, binding the arms. Don't worry, you might just be able to do this. That's okay. This is a great shoulder stretch. So take the shoulders down from the ears, press out into your forearms, and breathe. So breathing is really important. It helps to create a sense of calm and centering. When we slow down our breathing, we become more aware of being present, being in the moment. As we've all heard many times, the word mindfulness. And mindfulness simply means being present in the moment. And then open up, inhale. Let's take the other side. So we're gliding the arms around. This is one of my favorite stretches. So we all have different spots in our bodies where we hold tension. And then that can create limited range of motion. And we might not feel as flexible as we'd like to be in that area. So this, for me, since I carry a lot of tension in my shoulders, is a great stretch. Maintaining that connection with yourself, opening up, breathing. Arms down. Good. Let's roll those shoulders a couple more times. So now I'm going to take my stance out wider. So as I walk out, what you're going to also do is extend those arms. Don't worry if they're not perfectly straight out from your shoulders, but try to get your wrist and your ankle to line up. We're going to turn our toes in, take a deep breath in. And then exhale, I'm going to reach down towards my ankles. Elbows turn towards the side walls. Head releases down. So again, we have the head below the heart. We can always opt to stay more in a table. We can do this in a wide stance or a chair out in front of us. So just take a few moments here. This is great to lengthen through the spine, creating space between the vertebra. So it's nice to know what you're stretching and where it is. And then let's walk the hands up to the thighs, get that sense of lifting, making sure you're not pressing against your knees. Come up, reach the arms up. Now, one of my favorites, warrior two. So we spin the toe out, bend the knee, drop the shoulders. Good. So this is great. It broadens a stretch through the pelvis and the legs. It lengthens the spine. Now, let's take a deep breath in, straighten this front leg and bend. So you want to make sure that the knee doesn't go past the toe. Nice 90-degree bend. Inhaling, exhaling. One more time, taking a deep breath in. And then as we exhale, just coming into supported side angle. I'm going to reach up. Now, a great way to stretch open through the chest, if your chest is tight, is drop the arm behind your back. And then let your head either look up, out, or down. What feels good to you? That's another great part of yoga, is discovering what fits in your own body. And then we're going to take a deep breath in, come back up again. Exhale, spin this foot in, turn the other leg out, shoulders down, bend the knee, come into warrior two. And then gently just moving this knee up and down. Taking a deep breath in. As you exhale, we'll bend the knee, draw the forearm to the thigh, stretching up. Taking the arm behind the back. So we're opening through the front of the shoulder, across the chest, the collarbones. And even with my head turned, I'm stretching right along the side of my neck. Take another deep breath in. Exhale, start to come back up. Good. All right, turn your toes in again. Take a deep breath in. Now this time, I'm going to reach behind. Lace the fingers together. Shoulder blades slide in and down, hinging forward again, either into table or slowly lower the head down. Stretch the arm bones to the sky, feeling the shoulders move away from the ears. So yoga is wonderful to discover space within the spaces of our bodies. So if you think about that, we know we have different areas of our body with lots of space for our joints and all of that. But what if we found that there was even more space that we haven't accessed before? Think about how good we would feel. And then again, carefully coming up, take your time. You don't want to bring your head up too fast. Inhaling, reaching up, big stretch. And exhaling, sliding your feet back in. We're going to take a full breath in again. Now, shifting the weight to one side, we're going to come into balance. So we call this Stork Pose. Bring your leg out in front. And then I like to bring the arms out and combine what we call bird wings. So we're going to turn the thumbs behind, slide the shoulder blades in and down the spine. So we really feel the energy in the back of our body. Balance, thinking about the strength we're using in our stomach. And what about if we extended this leg out, right? Get a nice little stretch to the back of the leg. What if we pointed the toe? See, there's all these wonderful variations. And then bring it back in, set it down, take a giant breath in. Exhaling. Let's take the other side, slide the knee through. Extending the leg out, pointing your toes, flexing, and then sliding back in, releasing down. Good. Let's take a deep breath in here and exhale. All right. we're going to take it on down. So what we're going to come down to is all fours. So since we're going to be on our knees, sometimes it's nice to add a little extra padding underneath your knee. But if you're doing it on carpet and then a mat on top, it should feel pretty good. Walk your hands right out so that they're underneath your shoulders. Look at your hands so that they're spaced open between each finger. The webs are nice and open. I call this a 5-pointed star. Now, we're going to take a deep breath in, curve the spine. So we're lifting the shoulder blades up, hollowing the belly, and then exhale, extend. So flexion through extension of the spine. Think about that, this range of motion, very soft, fluid motion. Creates space, gets rid of congestion. Good. Now, as I slide the crown of the head out, I'm going to slide one leg back. Now I'm going to turn towards you. So you see the knee is on the floor, hand stays on the mat, and I lift. And this is a great twist. Oh, this feels so good. As my toes are tucked on the extended leg and the knees lifted, I feel another great stretch to the bottom of my foot, calf. But I'm also feeling how I'm twisting through my spine, stretching through my arm, working on my range of motion. Now, start to float the arm forward, coming into what we call bear pose. Lift the back leg about hip height. So letting your gaze float forward. A little bit of a set of balance. Always important to practice each and every day. I say just about 2 minutes we should find to practice our balance. And then slide your hand in. Knee comes in. Now we're just going to sink the hips back into what we call child's pose. Elbows, though, are going to stay lifted. So we feel a nice long stretch from our arms along the side of our ribs, down into our hips. And this is great for the lower back as well. And then come back up. So this will be nice because then you'll be able to see it, and we can do it in the other direction. So toes are tucked, leg is nice and long. We're going to lift and lengthen. We want to try to stack those arm bones. We don't want to have that hand too far forward. So always stack so there's space between the joints. We're not pushing just into the heel of the hand. Use the whole hand. Think about when your hand's on the ground, using those fingertips. The pads of your fingers are really strong. So a nice strong lifted twist here. Take another deep breath in, and now balance. So gazing out, lift the back leg, hip height, flex the foot, belly drawn in. Hand comes down, slide the knee in, and stretch back. Good. So let's take a deep breath in. We're going to come forward, slide the legs out in front of us. So if it feels uncomfortable to have your legs fully extended when we come into this forward fold, bend your knees, all right? So that's something to think about. Now, we're going to inhale, open. Exhale, reach forward. So now we're reaching forward towards our feet. But what I did bring along here is just a simple scarf that I wear. So what you can do is you can take a scarf or a belt or a tie, slide it around the bottoms of your feet. This is a great stretch to do, especially if you're really tight through your heel, your Achilles. This also is helpful with posture. If you have a little bit more flexibility and you want to come forward a little bit, just make sure you're not pulling your shoulders up towards your ears, spine is long. Or you can reach out, eyes softly gazing in between the feet. Good, now we're going to come up. I'm going to turn, slide the foot in. Now, this one I love for my lower back, and I can really feel my abdominal muscles getting a workout here. I'm going to turn, reach up, loop the elbow to the outside of the knee. So if you look at all the different parts of our body that are involved in this stretch, you can't help but feel flexible. If this is too much on the shoulder, just hold the knee in. Just gently cradle the knee in with your hand, with your arm. Now another one I love to do to stretch out the IT band from here to here, hold the edge of the foot, extend it out nice and long. This is another one where you could always take a scarf or a tie, holding it, soften the shoulder, fingers back, or extend this way. We want to think about lifting up. So right at the base of our buttocks are sits bones. So when we're doing poses like this, we want to come to those sits bones so we're not pressing into our lower back. Good. All right, come center. Now I'm going to hold the bottom of the foot, or I can always hold on to the scarf. Drop the shoulders. Extend the leg. Remember variations, bending the knee. It's all okay. Take a deep breath in. Now a little bit of control through the abdominals. We lower the leg down. Chest rises. Breathe in. And as we breathe out, we're going to take the turn. So as we turn, we want to lift and lengthen. Handstands behind the hip. Reach. Start to loop the elbow to the outside of the knee as you turn, or hold on to the knee. Notice how the leg that's extended is nice and long. My foot is flexed. And we're breathing slowly in and slowly out. And you can always turn your head, look over the shoulder, look out in front of you, maybe peek down towards your foot. Just to work on different movements through the head and the neck, very slowly though. And then we can take the outside of the foot, or we can use the scarf. We lengthen, leaning forward a little bit, and then opting to add some balance here. Take one more deep breath in. Exhale, let the shoulders melt down away from the ears. Put your hand down, slide around to the center. Take hold of the foot. Ah, this feels so good. You'll be surprised. When you start sometimes stretching your body, it may actually not feel so good. You may say, oh, I'm not going to stick with this. Well, try it. It's like anything. You've got to give it time. You've got to be patient. You know, you don't have to do this whole series. Maybe start one day, spend 5 minutes with me. Come back the next day and do 10. Then all of a sudden you're up to 20, and the next thing you know, you've done the whole show. And then you think to yourself, all right, I feel pretty good. All right, let's take the leg down. Good. All right. So one exercise or stretch I like to do in yoga is bridge pose, because this is great to really stretch both front and the back of our body. So knees are bent, knees and feet are hip width or wider depending on how the pelvis situates and feels. We're going to add a slight pelvic tilt. We're going to lift those hips up. Now notice how I'm lengthening through my tail. So if I had a tail, I would just be sliding that tail around towards the navel, but not too tight. Give yourself space. As I come up with my hip bones, thighs are reaching towards the knees. I can add some variation to the arms. What about if I brought them overhead and down? Oh, I feel a great stretch through my side. I can opt to bring them out to a T. Maybe I want to slide my shoulder blades in and get a little more stretch through the chest, through the front of my ribs. Notice how you see the belly still lifting and lowering. That's really important to keep that belly breath going. This feels really good, so take this for a few more moments. One more time. Inhale through the nose. Exhale, let go. Delicately lower yourself down. We're going to take the knees and just gently hug them into your chest. As they come into the chest, hands on your kneecaps. Good. And circle around. This is a great way to loosen up stiffness in your hips. So we're going to take a deep breath in here. As we exhale, knees together, drop them to one side, stack them on top of each other. Don't worry if they're not perfectly aligned. You might find that top leg is being pulled back, or you might find you want to bring it up a little closer to your chest. This is another good one. And then we can always extend that top leg out. What if we did that and maybe even reach for the foot? I know some of you are thinking that's not going to happen. Well, you might be surprised. And again, if you've got that scarf or your tie nearby, you can always loop it around the bottom of the foot. All right, slide it in. Take a deep breath in and then come to the other side. So, a common question. Well, if I'm stretching and keeping my body flexible, how long should I be doing this for? Well, each move that we do, take a handful of breaths and build on that. Maybe stay in it for 3 or 4 breaths, and maybe the next time stay for 5 breaths. If you really enjoy a stretch, then you can add time. Maybe stay in it for a minute. Maybe you'll find 2 minutes feels good. So it's really fitting the stretch routine into what works for you. All right, we're going to come back to center. Hug the knee in. Oh, remember we had that nice long stretch through this leg. I don't want to forget that. Come back through center. Good. And then let your body fully extend out. So legs are going to become nice and long. All I'm going to do right now is cross one leg, left leg over the right. Take the left arm overhead and then stretch to the right side. And then come back to center. We're going to do this on the other side. Good. So you know what? We're already down here. Why don't we just stay down here and relax? Because we all need time, right? Just to relax and to release tension in our body. So as we come to the end of our time together, I want to thank you for joining me. There are so many beautiful ways to explore yoga, and as today we saw, we can do it to help us stay flexible, to feel flexibility in our bodies. But now, hopefully, we feel good. We feel like we have more space, as we talked about space within the spaces. We can do that also with our breath. Between each breath we take, pause, create space between your breath, and that will help to create space between your thoughts. So we can practice being more present. So I'm just going to lie here. I hope you enjoyed this. Have a great rest of the day, and I look forward to moving with you again. Namaste.
Funding for Simsbury Community Television is provided in part by contributions from viewers like you. Thank you.